So imagine being a child again, you're out shopping with your mother or father, and you're in a pet store. And in the display window, you see a new litter of teddy bear puppies and also a new litter of kittens.
Aww.
So after begging and throwing a temper tantrum about how you want a new little buddy, because we all know you did this, your mother or father reluctantly give in and let you pick which pet you want. You walk out of the store as happy as can be. As all of you animal lovers know, this scenario is easy to imagine. This story happens every day, but this isn't the problem. The problem is where those pet stores got those animals. Dr. Jane Lomar, a veterinarian in Chicago, says that she has repeatedly seen the results of what has happened to puppy mill dogs. So for you to understand the dangers of pet mills, I would like to describe the horrors of purchasing pets from a pet store that get their animals from those pet mills. Back in my freshman year of college, my best friends and I decided to purchase a kitty and keep it at their apartment. So we drove over to this little pet shop in Cedar Rapids called Pet's Playhouse, and we fell in love with this little kitty who was about 1.6 pounds. And we decided to name her Tilly, and I'll show you a picture of her.
Oh, the overhead has to be on, so there's a side button? Because you can tell when the lights are green, okay?
Got it. That's not it. So that's Tilly. And then this is another picture of her sitting in a little ball. So after only having Tilly for 2 days, we started noticing that she was getting sick. We called the emergency animal hospital dozens of times. She threw up everywhere and defecated everywhere, and I mean everywhere. She wouldn't eat or drink anything, and so the animal hospital couldn't tell us what was wrong because she was only 8 weeks old and she dropped weight to about 1 pound, so very, very small. And we were told they couldn't run tests on her because she was so small. And as broke college students, all of you know that you wouldn't be able to afford all the tests and the medicine that she would need to get better. So what would you do? So naturally, as millennials, we took to Google to determine to figure something out. So according to the survey you all participated in, all of you know that pet mills are bad. You just didn't know exactly what they were. Kristen Kenny, a published author and lawyer in Albany, New York, says that the term puppy mill or kitten mill generally refers to a high-volume breeding operations populated by poorly treated dogs and cats that are bred at every opportunity, caged their entire life, and that receive minimal health care. Some criteria and rules for these mills to follow are the cages must be 6 inches longer than the dogs, so very small. They're tightly compacted. You can fit up to 12 dogs per cage. And they don't have to be let out of their cages, but the owners of the pet mills do have to have an exercise plan in place, but they don't have to execute it. So they rarely get let out. And that's only a few of the many horrors seen in these pet mills. So after surfing the web, we found out that Pet's Playhouse actually does get their animals from pet mills, and it's actually one of the worst ones in Iowa. And after finding that out, we again took to the internet to figure out some diseases or illnesses that she could possibly have related to pet mills. Because the owner of the pet mills don't care about the animals, they don't keep up on them when they're sick to prevent them from infecting other animals. Stephanie Shane, Chief Operating Officer of the Washington Humane Society, says that these animals have a high incidence of genetic disorders and diseases, problems that emerge months or years after their purchase. And we found that out very quickly because we got her when she was only 8 weeks old, so about 2 months. We looked for symptoms of what could be wrong with her. The American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, or better known as the ASPCA, gave a long list of illnesses and disorders these animals in the mills could have. A few were epilepsy, intestinal parasites, distemper in cats, and parvovirus in dogs. According to PetMD, distemper and parvovirus are viruses that rapidly affect dividing blood cells in the body, and primarily the cells in the intestinal tract, the bone marrow, and then the stem cells in the developing fetus. It's also a very contagious and deadly disease in animals, and by the time we had saved up enough money to take Tilly to get tests and medicine, she had passed away. Tilly died 2 weeks after we had gotten her. The vets did an autopsy on her, and they figured out that she had distemper from being in an animal mill. Her littermates also died of the same illness, hours and days apart from her. I know this because 2 of my friends actually had her littermates, so we kept in close contact with them. And this was a sad and depressing time for the 4 of us. Even though we only had her for 2 weeks, we still loved her. And if I had to do this again, I definitely would have gone to a local shelter or an actual breeder to adopt an animal that has their animals in healthy conditions, and whether it be a dog or a cat. Though it cannot help those poor animals who are unfortunately in that situation, it can help you from the feeling we all know of losing a beloved pet. So, I ask all of you as animal lovers and pet owners to think about the next time about how and where you purchase your pet. Thank you. Questions?
How much did you pay for her?
Between the 4 of us, we each paid like $50.
Did you go back and did you tell them?
We posted on their Facebook, we wrote reviews, and one of my friends, actually from high school, who had her littermates, sued. Her
Sued
parents
this
sued
store?
them.
And what was their reaction? Not much.
They didn't really care. There was a huge news article going around in Cedar Rapids, but I tried to find that and like put it in my speech, but they deleted it and it wasn't on there. All like the news stuff was like positive things about Pets Playhouse, but they're really bad. Like all over the cages, like when you go in there, it's like poop everywhere, all over the floor, urine all over the floor. It's really poorly kept.
Do you think, well, I know you got the results from the class survey, but do you think people, when they think about getting a pet, still think about going to like a pet store like that?
Well, I think because like a lot of pet stores now are like, they don't really sell dogs anymore, but
Really
like they
don't?
do sell cats. But some of them do, but a lot of them don't anymore because I think there's like a regulation passed that you can't, or like they won't sell dogs because people are starting to know more about it. But yeah, I don't think people actually like realize, like think about it, that these dogs could be, like they don't look into like where they get them.
And how much did it cost you to do the autopsy?
They did it for free because
They did it for free?
yeah, because we were like, yeah, we had her 2 weeks and they did it for free.
And I'm not sure what, I've never really had an animal, I'm not sure what distemper is.
Distemper, it's like, I don't know, the symptoms of it, like she had all the symptoms of it, like she hung her head over her bowl, didn't eat anything. She was like, she fit into like the palm of our hands, and we have really small hands, and so she like was so tiny, and she didn't have solid poop. She was like super sick. She threw up everywhere all the time. Like even if you were like holding her, she would just like puke on you. So very sick, very, very sick. And like she also had like ear mites. She had no hair in front of her ears because she was so sick. Like the picture showed it, like she just looked sick.
Ugh.
It was bad, but she was so cute. And then all of a sudden she just started getting really, really sick.
You're not recording this, are you? No, you can stop it.
Oh.
Sorry.